Here's the last of the runners go in, the outsiders Blake's Turbo and Rock Me Cure. The hare is running for the ECC Timber Laurels final. £6,000 to the final. Get ready. And away they go. Good start, On Alert, pacing up. Millwards Whitey heading towards the rails, moving on its inside. Millwards Whitey gets round. On Alert doesn't, is buffeted. Off in chase now 6, Tyrannus Bolt. As they head down the far side, it's Millwards Whitey leading. Tyrannus Bolt pursuing. Then comes Blake's Turbo. Going round the third bend, Millwards Whitey, Tyrannus Bolt alongside. But it's Millwards Whitey still by a neck as they come off the final bend. Quickens on by a length now. Millwards Whitey will win the ECC Laurels and wins in style from the 6 in second, Tyrannus Bolt, and On Alert back in third. Well, early pace is potent, isn't it? And that's something that Millwards Whitey has got. He went towards the rails, he was out-trapped by On Alert, but he'd shown the pace up to lead at the first bend. On Alert, who was handy, couldn't get round the bend without getting jostled and crowded and bumped. And that put pay to his chances. He was running on again in third. Tyrannus Bolt turned in second place, but he's a sprinter. So he did all his running by the third bend, and that played into the paws of Millwards Whitey. And there's Carly Philpott winning with Millwards Whitey, of course. A great greyhound who's got superb early speed. On Alert out-trapping Millwards Whitey. See what I mentioned about Tyrannus Bolt? Fell out of the boxes again for a sprinter. Great pace up, moved up into second place. I made a race of it to the third bend, but he's going to have no more in the locker. He has to give way. On Alert, who didn't have the early pace of these two, was jostled at the bend, but he gets going now, and he wasn't that far away at the winning line. He's run another very good race, but unfortunately in defeat. Millwards Whitey is this year's ECC Timber Laurels final winner. And gents, it was a great display from a greyhound who has been plagued with injuries this year.
Yeah, he's had his problems there. He really flew onto the scene, didn't he, in that puppy event at Wimbledon last year. He looked a potential star, and he's now beginning to fulfil that enormous potential he showed as a youngster. Great moment here for Dean Childs, and of course a poignant winner for the executors of the late Mr. Mitch Millward and John White. Millwards Whitey really tough, holding off Tyrannus Bolt, Hobbsy.
Well, we thought last week, of course, with the Mitch Millward Essex Vase was an emotional affair. I think this will be for John White tonight. Of course, part owner of Whitey, who's absolutely bolted to that first bend. He's denied On Alert a run at that point. That was key, not to the chance of trap 4, but certainly to Millwards Whitey, who's kicked on. Tyrannus Bolt has turned handier, and as they crowded inside, he got close to Millwards Whitey. But it was just at this point he just drifted off of that fourth bend and saving ground against the fence. Millwards Whitey, a beaten favourite in the earlier this year.
Hobbsy said it's a massive race, and there is Carly doing the honours. She does so much hard work for Dean, and especially when Dean was off on paternity leave, she really did look after things well at the kennel along with the team. He's got a great team behind him, Dean Childs, and a big race success here for the Crayford trainer, Dean Childs. 6-4 favourite, 3-1. Another winning favourite. Let's go and join Daryl.
Thank you very much indeed, Tony. Yeah, the Laurels, it's a race with a lot of history, and yes, he's finished his maternity leave, Tony, but Daddy Dean is here. That was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great to see the dog, you know, he's just finished the job off nicely because, as you say, you know, he's gone through this unbeaten. And, you know, when you get to a final and your dog's in good form, you just hope that they produce it on the night. He hasn't probably broke as well as he can. But
he's showed great pace up to the corner, though, hasn't he?
And determination, you know, and he's wanted that bend and he's made that bend his own. And then once he's got it in front, then yeah, it's going to take a good dog. Sixers gave him a great run, but yeah, no. Once he had his head in front, we was hopeful then that he should be able to do the business.
We were chatting upstairs, sort of earlier on in the evening, and just saying that this dog is sort of back to the level he was at in his very early days.
Yeah, I mean, as a young dog, you know, he got sent over by Michael and Sean Dunphy to me, and I put him up the gallop a couple of times, and John and Mitch, they see him and they said, look, we'd love to have this dog. They've done the deal with the Dunphys.
What do you think's brought that sort of form back then?
Well, you know, as you say, like, you know, his early career as a puppy, you know, he was mixing it with the best and he looked very, very good. He lost his way for a while. We couldn't really put our finger on what was wrong, but we knew something was wrong. We knew that we never had the dog that we should have, and luckily
so
for us,
nothing came to light then, Dean?
We just put him away. We just put him away, rested him off, and then just brought him back and just hoped then we had the dog back. And yeah, we got the dog back, so delighted.
I mean, it's to say, it's got a great history, this race. You know, the Laurels, it's one of those sort of classics, isn't it? We all remember from when we were a lot younger, and, you know, you must be a proud man to have won it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Laurels is a special competition with a great history, and, you know, it's full credit to the sponsor, PJ. He's a big owner. He understands the importance of these competitions and preserving them on both sides of the water, and, you know, full credit to him for sort of like, you know, sponsoring this and the Oaks like he has done in the last few years.
Definitely. Let's get a word with John before he disappears over here. Well done, John. That's fantastic, and you know, another one keeping the sort of Millwards name in the spotlight, which is what we want to see.
Well, I think before the puppy derby, Mitch said we're not a one-dog team, so he's right, wasn't he? So Dean said about all the statistics. This is his 5th final.
You were going to reel off a lot of stats for me. Come on.
His 5th final out of 24 runs. You know, it's not bad, is it?
I thought there was more.
Ah,
How many wins, Ben?
yeah.
How many wins? What's the percentage?
I think
Put him on the spot.
that's his 13th, I think.
Look, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. He's won the Laurels. That's all that's significant tonight. And it's a great trophy, as we know. I mean, look at those names through the history.
That's it. I mean, hopefully
I can't read them. They're too small, but there's a lot of names
I
there.
can just about see the trophy. Well, what a thing. I mean, it's one of them ones up there with the derby, isn't it? If you're going to win a competition, this is the kind of thing you want.
And you know, when you get a greyhound get to a final like this and you've got there unbeaten, do you then suddenly think, oh goodness, pressure's on now a bit, because it'd be no good winning the first couple of rounds and getting beaten in the final?
That's exactly what he did in the Arc, you know. I mean,
Yes, I didn't want to remind you of that.
Thanks. And even the puppy derby, I mean, he got beat a short head in the semi there, and Dean had a bit of sickness in the kennel at the time. He was unlucky, but with a run in the final, I think he'd have give Sanchez a run, wouldn't he? So he's a very good dog. He's gone under the radar a little bit, I think. So.
Well, he had gone under the radar. We all remember him now. We know how good he's been through his career, but great to see. Well done to you. Well done to Dean, of course, and to Carly, and in memory of Mitch as well, of course.
Definitely, but without the team we've got around these dogs, I mean, the finals that Mitch and myself have had over the last couple of years is phenomenal. I mean, well, you wouldn't believe it, would you? So I don't, pinching myself now. So, and I know Mitch is with us. So brilliant, mate.
Thank you, John. Well done.
You.
Thank you.